I've been a hardstuck gold player since 2018, up until the March of last year, since when I've been able to climb all the way to grandmaster in less than a year. But to find out exactly how I did it, we have to go back to the very beginning. Millions and billions of years ago, the universe was just an atom. Whoa, hold it. That's a bit too early. Fast forward a little bit. It is November the 8th of 2006. A god gamer is born. Nope, still too early. Just a little bit more. It is November the 8th of 2018. Okay, good enough. It is my 12th birthday, and as I've been watching Overwatch content on YouTube for about a month already, I could not wait any longer for this day. And ever since the day my dad filled out his credit card information to buy the game, I have fell in love with Overwatch. There were so many different characters to play. Some were cool, some were funny, some were, very age inappropriate for me at the time, but there was just quite nothing like it before it and since. Now, me being a 12-year-old and all, I was a very casual player. I mostly played arcade and quick play to learn new characters. But once I unlocked competitive mode and mustered up my strength to actually play it, I ended up placing silver and kinda quickly dropped to bronze. But after a couple months of playing comp and not really getting any better, I decided I was not satisfied with bronze. So, naturally, like many other people, I got really into improving my skill in Overwatch. And although this want of improvement was genuine and innocent at first, it quite quickly turned into the stereotypical toxic, I don't belong in this rank mentality. And I think at the time, the thing to blame for that were channels like GameLeap, who made videos around the topic of improvement, but put a lot of weight on things like the strength of different characters in certain metas, or on the ranks themselves, with the goal of clickbaiting a viewer instead of actually helping the viewer improve. And as you would guess, I did not improve a wink. And if you skip a couple of years, I'm still bronze and still as toxic and mad as ever. And in 2021, I made a great decision to quit the game. It was mostly because Blizzard kinda abandoned it and competitive wasn't very fun and there was nothing else to do. So yeah, I quit. And although this was probably supposed to be the end of my relationship with Overwatch, in 2023, Team Fortress 2 had a resurgence. So I tried it out. And it was alright.
I'm a force of nature.
But something was missing. It felt like you were finally scratching your back, but not quite in the right spot. But then I realized the itchy part can only be scratched by Overwatch. And since everything was looking good, they added new cool characters. They changed to a format 5v5 to be more individual in terms of value you get. And they had a huge, amazing PvE expansion coming, which I loved Blackwatch, so I was super excited for all of this. I did the only sensible thing and came back. After a couple of days of playing quick play, I jumped into comp. I did my placements and I placed gold. Now, I wasn't a better player, of course. There's a bit of SR inflation from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2, but after playing about a week of comp, the bad memories started to come back. But instead of channels like GameLeap being there to fuel my rage, there were people like A10 who showed a more enjoyable and healthy way of improving. And in the time I quit Overwatch, I actually took up editing as a hobby. And although this is a bit personal, but in that year, I kinda aimed too high and ended up not getting into secondary school. So I had to stay home for a whole year studying for the next year exams. But the studying kinda took up a couple hours a day, so most of my day was simply free time. So since I was sick of being hard stuck and did not want to go back to that time angry playing comp all day, I decided that I would have to get GM by the end of 2023 and to make a YouTube series about it to keep myself accountable. In my first video, I laid out very clear boundaries about the fact that I would only play Hanzo Tracer, and that I would use this improvement system I learned from a pro player from a previous game I played. But during the second week of the challenge, I started to drop the boundaries and kinda disregarded them, and did things like dropping characters and picking up different ones, you know, things like that. All because I thought it was the right thing to do. But then I had a big wake-up call and realized that I was in a mind trap, kind of a pitfall that people fall into when they're trying to improve at something. And I made a pretty emotional video about it, and after a week, it suddenly blew up. It got over 100k views in like a week, and this ended up helping me quite a bit, because I had a lot of people reach out trying to lend a helping hand, and around here I was able to get out of gold and climb into plat. My biggest inspirations at the start here were, as I mentioned previously, A10 or Spylo, or players from previous games I played. And as I was super motivated, I was doing as much as possible. I was trying to optimize every single little thing in my improvement. I created a whole warm-up for myself. I started meditating, aim training, eye tracking exercises, on and on and on. If I wasn't studying, I was playing, and if I wasn't playing, I was researching. During the next couple weeks, I started VOD reviewing and implementing more correct decisions into my games. And by the end of my first month of the challenge, I got to Diamond. I had finally got out of the medal ranks. I was at the top of my game, and for the next month, I continued doing stuff at the same pace. But sadly, this is where it goes downhill a bit. I didn't really improve for a whole month, and also this is around the time when the PvE got downscaled so much, to the point where I think it's totally fair to say that it was cancelled, and I was really unhappy about that. Because not only was I excited to actually play it, it would mean that potential future players are never going to touch Overwatch in their life. And overall, everything just kinda sucked in this period, until my friend Konica invited me to spectate his GM scrim. Watching Overwatch played in a coordinated team environment with good players was quite fascinating to a Diamond solo queue ranked player. And since I was super bored, I decided to join a team myself. In the next week, I trialed with like 4 teams or something, and ended up joining a Diamond team called Hirano. Playing Overwatch like this felt like a whole new game, and over the next month, I was able to climb all the way to Masters. But this is around the time when Blizzard released their big Season 6 drop, including the whatever was left of PvE, and after I played it, I felt super demotivated. The missions were absolutely terrible. They were incredibly boring, and it made me feel that even if I got GM at this point, it wouldn't even matter, cause Overwatch 2 is a scam and it's only going downhill. Now, stacked on top of this was that I suddenly had to move to the countryside, where I didn't really have any internet or a setup. Now, the important thing about this is that these problems were genuinely fixable. If I really wanted to keep playing Overwatch, I could've. I just had to put some effort and money in. But because of my already growing disinterest in the game, I decided not to do that. So I ended up quitting for about 2 months, which is when my family actually set up Wi-Fi and I got a desk. So I decided to come back. I made a video talking about how I want to come back but be more casual about it, and that I'm not really gonna try or even care about the challenge anymore. But this is around the time that school started up again, and I kinda had to get back into the school schedule. But after that initial comeback video, I didn't make another one for almost 2 months. And I didn't really play the game much either, because I felt like it got a bit worse during the break. But around a month before the end of the challenge, I find myself with a little bit of free time, and I decide to hop on comp and play some Doomfist because I just saw Samito play him on stream. And Doomfist was actually my favorite character in Overwatch 1 when I played in 2021. And even though they completely changed his playstyle, he's still the #1 character beginner when it comes to movement in this game, and something just kinda clicks for me when I play the game from the point of view of Doomfist. And 1 month before the end of the challenge, I decide I'm still gonna complete it. I was a plat tank at the time, but somehow I ended up one-tricking Doomfist to Masters 2 in the span of 20 days. I didn't warm up, I didn't VOD review a single second of my gameplay. I just played. I watched Zebra, I watched Samito, and I just played. And keep in mind, this was during school, unlike the 5 months of playing DPS where I had nothing but free time. Here, I was playing around 2 hours a day at most. But when I was just about at the finish line, Mauga came out, and I went on a pretty big loss streak and dropped all the way to Masters 4. And seeing as there was 7 days left in the challenge, I decided to pick up Mauga and grinded with him until the very last day, which means this is the last card of the year, which means if I don't get GM with this card, I will fail. Oh shit, funny number, let's go. Is that GM? Is that GM? 420. Is 420 GM? Oh my god. Dude, it's not GM? There's no way I go 5 and 2 and oh my. Dude, what? Oh, I was so close. But sadly, I ended up failing the challenge. Although I'm fairly certain that I was GM level in terms of skill before 2023, I still did not have that icon on my profile. Until 6 days later. Let's see. BAM! Oh! Let's fucking go! Oh my god, let's go! Dude, 1 year of hard work. Crazy. So that is how I was able to go from gold to grandmaster in the span of 1 year. If you have any questions, then please leave them in the comment section. I'm also gonna make a more improvement-based video for people who would maybe like to replicate the same thing I did. And don't worry, it's not gonna be the same stereotypical bullshit, I promise you. If you wanna catch me live, follow my Twitch. And after this whole thing, I really do feel like I understand the game a lot better, at least from a tank point of view. Anyways, thank you for watching. This has meant a whole lot to me because it's been a pretty big part of my life for the last year, and overall I'm happy with the results. See you next time.